Yeah, recording. Yeah.
Okay, we'll have to start from here. So first problem is like super washing machines. So we are given n super washing machines on a line, and initially each of the washing machine has some dresses or they are empty. And for each move, we have to choose any m which lies between 1 to n washing machines and pass one dress of each washing machine to one of its adjacent washing machine at the same time. And we are given an integer array representing the number of dresses in each washing machine from left to right on the line. You have to find the minimum number of moves to make all the machines have the same number of dresses if it is possible to do it. Else we'll return -1 in that case, right?
Yes.
So since each of the machines should have at least one dress. So I mean from 5, one dress we are passing to this. So this is the first iteration. After that, what we are doing? We are passing this dress to this, right? So this will be 0 again, and 1 we are passing here. So now this is having 2, 1, 3, but still they are not equal. So now this is lacking, right? And this is surplus. So 1 we are passing to this, and at this stage, all the 3 washing machines is having same number of dresses, right?
Okay. So you are saying
Yeah.
in the first move, you are taking one dress from the washing machine which has 5 dresses, moving it to the 0th one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And then the second time, what you are doing is you are again picking from that fourth machine, then who has 4 dresses, moving one to where earlier was one, that is the middle one, and that one you are moving to the next, the 0th position one. So therefore, it is becoming 2.
Yeah. And in the third iteration, it becomes equal. Yeah.
So they are moved one after another because they have to move only in the adjacent washing machines, right?
Yeah. I don't think so. We can skip, right? Oh, adjacent washing
Yeah,
machines.
he's saying adjacent
No, no,
washing
no, we
machine.
cannot skip.
Yeah, yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
We have to, therefore, that becomes slightly a different problem. Yeah.
Kind of. And this is another
So in
example,
this
right?
case, how it is? Yeah, 3. So why can't we actually move two ones, okay, in the first move itself, one to both sides?
Oh, so directly, I think that's some
No, no,
constraint.
Because
no. We have
yeah,
to move from each and everything to another one.
yeah.
Like you also have to move one from zero also because we are left with no one, so we cannot move from there.
Yeah. So every washing machine, when we are picking it up, so you can only pick one dress, correct, Shashank? And
Mhm.
then we move it either to only one direction because you have only one dress to move, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. So that is one constraint. Okay. So there are two of these. Okay. And is there any other example than that?
Let's go. Oh, here it's not possible because the third, I mean, middle one will be a deficit of it. I mean, if it passes 1, 1 to everybody, both of them.
Hmm. So we
Mhm.
can check if the sum of all the addresses is lesser than the number of machines, which we can't equally divide, right?
At
Hmm.
least it should be greater than the length of the array. Greater than or equal to, right? Number of, I
No,
mean,
if it
number of
is 4, if it is 040, so will it still work?
0401 you will pass here, right? Okay, let's
Uh-huh.
try.
Let me try here, okay, and check
Sure,
if it
sure.
works.
You can answer it. Yeah.
I think it should return -1. Yeah, it returns -1 because it's not equally divisible.
That's also, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Equals equal.
So right. So it's impossible in that case. Hmm. Okay. So it means we need to always move it to the adjacent machine. Okay.
Exactly. And every point check whether each of the machines is having equal number of bits.
Right.
And coming to constraints, the range will be 1 to 100K, right?
10,000.
10,000, yeah.
10K. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, 10K, sorry. I said
Hmm.
100K.
No problem.
And
Yeah.
the range of dresses, number in a super washing, 0 to 10 raised to 5. So, yeah, it's a significant amount, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, n square will never go.
Okay, yeah. In that case, if you're saying we should not try for an n square solution,
Hmm.
n log n or n.
And n is, I mean, awesome. And then log in. Yeah.
Right, n or n log n, whatever lesser than n square is good. Hmm.
Hmm.
Okay, so how do we go about this?
I think what you told first, the case like number of traces should be equally divisible, right? The size by the size of the array.
Okay. Hmm.
That's a early exit condition. And now coming
Okay,
to the
but that's
group
just a pace. What you say, yeah, early exit condition,
condition, yeah.
or maybe corner case. Okay.
And brute force would be like you take all the numbers
Mm-hmm.
and add it and divide by the size of the array. So you'll get some value, right?
Mm-hmm.
That should be target value. Like each place of the array should we have to reach till that point.
You're
And if
right.
we don't reach, keep on shuffling the traces depending on the requirement.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, 5 + 1 is 6, right? So each of the cells should be at least we'll have to make it 2, right?
Right.
Now we'll check. I mean, which of these, I mean, adjacent arrays is having greater than 2 elements? None of them. So we won't make any switch here. I mean, shuffling here. But
Mm-hmm.
here we'll find it's greater than 2. That means I can transfer some of the traces to that side. So I'll take 1, transfer
Mm-hmm.
over here, right? And again, it's surplus of 2. So I'll again pass it to here, and then yeah, what is it? We'll leave as it is now. Now this is 2 or greater than equals to 2. So we can again take one dress and pass it to this machine. Now this will be deficit and this will be still surplus, right? Again, we can do the same kind of BFS. You not here, you can say BFS also in a very layman language, isn't it?
BFS, I don't understand, but that's fine. Um, okay. So
What,
one
what
thing is
should
at a time you can only shift one dress to its adjacent machine, no?
mm-hmm.
So it will keep continuing. And as you said, if you calculate each and every machine's capacity, means if you divide whatever dresses you have, take all the sum of all the dresses and divide by the number of machines. So that average dresses which are for per machine. So if we can try to do the movements from the ones which are having more dresses to the ones which are not having. So that is the only one way, right? Okay.
I think yeah.
Mm. But then I still don't understand. Like if we had something like, an example like 1 0 0 and then so 4 5, something
Can
like
you
that.
notate like
Okay, let me take an example like this. So if it is 1 0, okay, and maybe another 0, this will be 3, right? So this will be 3, and then if I say 4 5, okay, so instead of this I'll make 2, okay, and this will be 8, and this will be 10, right? So 8 plus 10, 18 and 2 20, right? So now we have these 5 machines if we just consider
4 for each? Yeah.
4 for each. So in this case, how are we going to do is uh, we take one from first year like this, right?
We
So
can
that
take from yeah.
so if I take it one from here, so this will be one move, right? And then again I can push one from here again for the next move, right? So they will be 1 1,
Hmm.
and then again I move it, so this will be 1 1 1 in the third move, correct?
Yeah.
So I've removed at least 3, so this becomes 5 here. So I cannot move anything from this machine now, right?
Makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so this will be now 3, this will be 1 1, and this will be 5, and this will be 10. Okay, so
Still one
this
for
happens in the third move. This is my third move, right? Okay. And then if I do the next moves again, so now this 5 is done. So I have to start from the 10. So this will be 1 now in that case, right? So then again this 10 will, I will move one more. So this will be 1 and I cannot move 1 here, right? Yeah.
I suppose that we should start from 10 as well. 8 and 10 should be moved at first step, yeah, because otherwise we will have to back to 10, yeah.
So you are saying that I should start from 10 instead of 8?
Yes, but from both, from 8 and 10, because
So you
in this step we can decrease 8 and 10 by -1, yeah.
so
Okay. Okay, but okay, even if we increase by 5 also, that should be fine, right? Okay. So both of them together, you mean to say,
Yeah,
and then we keep on moving. Okay, okay. So this is what I'm doing here. It should be done parallelly.
yeah.
at the
Okay.
same time.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So then in this case, it will be 1 year. I move here 1. Okay. 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 So then, what do you actually get from all this, right?
Like, I mean, for every machine, you have to fill the, I mean, you have to fill the your target, right? Target value till the point. And
Okay.
whenever you find any cell in the matrix, I mean, in the arrays having more than the target, then
Oh,
just you maintain a running variable which will keep on distributing the addresses to its adjacent ones till it suffices what is it, the required condition. Like, I mean, all the elements of the array is equal to that particular target. Kind of, yeah, isn't it?
okay. So you are saying first we need to find the average for per machine, and then we need to find out what is either the surplus or the deficit for each machine, correct?
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like a gas. We have gas station problem where you fill the petrol with what do you say? There is a capacity, right? Capacity of the tank. You fill the petrol, and you have to decide whether you can reach the destination to the next destination or not. Circular gas station kind of.
Yes, you can say that. Right. But here we have a deficit issue also.
Yeah, and that's I mean another difference on them.
Uh-huh. So
So
then
you
if
will
we,
calculate the target and get all the surplus amount first, right? I mean, equal value, like each, what is the maximum each cell can take, and now you will start checking which cell is having the extra amount, more than that, right?
right. Uh-huh.
And which all are lacking how much.
Hmm. So we can actually do by using that same, right? What you said, calculate a capacity per machine.
Mhm.
Okay, and then you subtract each and every element what we have, each whatever addresses we have in that machine from this capacity.
Yeah.
Okay, so in cases when it is lesser, you will have a negative number, so that is a deficit, and if it is surplus, you will have a positive number. Correct.
Yeah. Mhm.
So in this 105, you will have something like if we take it will be 2, right? So 1 minus 2 will be minus 1,
Okay.
right? In this case, this will be the first one will be minus 1, and in the 0th it will be minus 2, correct?
Yeah.
And 5 will be 3.
5 will be 3, yes.
Yeah, so in that case you can say that my here is minus 1 deficit, minus 2 deficit, and 3 surplus.
So it's a valid combination, I mean, because everything sum totals to 0, right? I mean,
Yeah.
whatever deficit and surplus you have.
Uh-huh. And then when you see actually if you want to uh, find out how how we can get the number of moments, so that part I'm really not very clear because they say it's like you said you do keep running some. So you want to keep running some for this one?
Yeah, I mean, what is the surplus and how much moves we have to make?
Okay. So what is the surplus in this case? 3 surplus, right? And
Yeah.
then we have deficit of 3. So therefore the movements will be like that.
Yeah, from 3 to -2, and then
Yeah. So I think if we keep a running sum, so that makes sense because initially this will be -1, correct? So this will be -3 and this will be 0. So what does that mean is in this particular machine, there were 3 movements, correct?
done.
Therefore, whatever machine which has the maximum value, whether it is, if we take an absolute one, right? So whatever is the maximum value will be the number of movements, correct?
Those many, yes, because you are yeah.
Yeah, so this is for this guy. And for this next one, the second example, it will be -1, 0, and -1, right? No,
Because
no,
3
this will be plus 1,
-2.
sorry.
This will be -2.
This will be -2 or 1, 1, 1.
1 1 1, yeah.
Okay, so we'll have to have 3 minus 1. So this will be 2, right?
+2.
Yeah, plus 2. And then this will be -1. Okay. So in this case, we'll have -1 here, and then we'll have 1 year. Okay, and then we'll have 0. And then if we actually do a running sum in this case, oh no, this is the running sum itself, right? So yeah,
-1 to 1 is the right sum.
right. Oh no, I think we missed something, right? In this case.
No, you divided by 3 and you got the difference first as -1, right? The second one is 3 minus 1 is 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's -1.
Okay, but now if we consider this one, and if we take the absolute sum of whatever the moments are, then it should be one moment only, correct? So, but
Because
now
the
it is two. So why is that? Because if we take this way, we took -3 as an absolute value, and 3 was our answer. But in this case, the answer is should be 1 as per the above. But if you look at the output, it is 2.
no, but that should be 0, right? The middle one should be 0. Like in the first one, which was the one which was having the surplus amount, finally it went down to 0, right?
This is well, this was some sort of a cumulative sum, correct?
Yeah.
So we are also doing the cumulative sum here, right? And so this one is a deficit and surplus. Okay, so this is also deficit and surplus, right? So then
Yeah.
what I was going through here, the first example, when I was just looking for all the values which are absolute values, and that I was returning to be the maximum value returning as an answer. So that will be that many number of movements, either in the positive side or the negative side. That doesn't matter, right? As long as movements are there. So here also the movements happen, but the movements happen in two directions here, this direction as well as this direction.
But the top one is unidirectional, like one way you are going.
Correct. That's only one direction. So we have to have two directions. So then how do we take care of that?
I think in that case, you'll have to add extra, no?
So in that case, I think they say something like we need to even look for whatever is the current position when we are at a current location of a machine. So we need to find out also like when we are doing a running sum. So we also should take care of the value, the surplus value in the current machine. So if that is greater, then we should actually take that as a max value in that case. So in this second location, this location you have surplus value 2, but the running sum value here was 1, correct? So then you also compare this one with your current uh, surplus value or whatever the deficit, only surplus value, sorry. So if the surplus value is greater than this value, so then you take your surplus value as your uh, current max so far.
Yeah.
and then you return 2. So why we have to do that? Because if you don't use that, so there might be some machines which have a deficit at its right side, right? Either we do it this way, or or else we'll have to do this running sum, okay, from left to right as well as from right to left.
And take the max then.
Yeah, then take the max. Instead of that, they are actually just saying, okay, just look for this along with the running sum. You know, when you are doing a running sum, you just have to look for what is the surplus in your uh, current whatever your array is, in the array of surplus and deficit array. And if you have a maximum value in the surplus, then this current running sum, you take that, or else you just keep on taking whatever is the maximum in the current surplus.
So what did you do in third? How did you get 2? First you did a prefix, I mean running sum. You
Correct,
got 1.
prefix sum. Yeah, this is prefix sum, correct. So when we do the correct prefix sum, so we also, each and every stage when we for each prefix sum, we are looking for max so far, right? So when we look for a max so far, at that time we also compare, we keep this max so far value for now, it is 1, because here also, and we take always the absolute values in the prefix sum as a max so far, because the moments don't matter whether it is a left side or right side, correct? So the numbers only, if it's a negative, it means it's moving to the right side, positive it means moving to the left side, right? Right or left, either of it. So therefore we always take an absolute value. But if your current so far is smaller than your surplus in your surplus deficit array, so then you should take the highest value, that is the surplus value. Yeah, that makes sense, right? Because we in this case we are only looking from left to right, but this guy actually, this value actually gives us that we have to do a movement from right to left also, right? So that actually, if you take this surplus value, so we don't have to do another right to left, because we can actually just look for whatever is the surplus, and that we can take it. And why this can be okay is because we have already taken care of the condition that if this -1 condition, right? If you don't have sufficient number of dresses, so it means the capacity will always be sufficient, and then only we do this. So that is the base condition what we take.
Yeah.
Right. So this condition, what you are representing -1, right? So we actually take care of that. So when we are doing all this calculation, it means that we are always going to satisfy the needs of each and every machine, right? So with that assumption, we don't have to look for this condition at all in this calculations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's go to the code then.
Well, I was just thinking loud. I was trying to run through the examples. I'm not sure whether things are very clear
That sounds
in this case, right? Because I had a very difficult time understanding this problem. I was trying to compare it with the gas station problem.
I also thought initially that, but it's somewhat related to candy problem also, like two way we do left to right, right to left, and take the max of it. Like
Right. Yeah, actually, it's a mix of the gas surplus as well as the candy, I would say. Correct. But if you look at the description, somewhere they said it's a greedy approach and also DP, I think, right? Or no?
Greedy,
No,
I think
it's not a greedy. DP and maths, they are saying.
In the
In the related topics, they don't talk about the greedy approach.
dynamic because of this optimization minimum, right? Minimum number of moves. So because of that, I think DP comes into picture.
Okay. But I frankly didn't understand why they had to say DP. Maybe if we do it in a top-down approach, that might be a DP way to do it, right?
I thought that because of this minimum number, minimum, maximum, so all these are optimization, right? But sometimes it can be greedy also.
Okay. So you are saying minimum, maximize. Actually, they fall in that one of the DP pattern. Okay. Okay. Makes sense then.
So here, like what we are doing, I mean, as you explained,
Mm-hmm.
we are summing the entire array first, right?
Right.
And just we are checking whether it is completely divisible or not. Because if it's not, then you'll have to return -1 in that case.
Yes. Yeah.
And now here you're calculating the capacity of each of the machines, like summing the entire array and dividing by the length of the machine, which will give you the what is the capacity of each machine to take the trace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is I'm maintaining whether there is a deficit or a surplus. I mean, individual elements I'm taking from the machines and subtracting from target, the one which you were showing, right?
Mm-hmm.
My, yeah. And now
Mm-hmm.
I walk through each of the element in the array and do a prefix sum, right?
Right. Okay. The running
Yeah.
sum is the prefix sum. Okay.
Prefix sum. And just you take max of the moves and or the absolute running or whatever the existing value of the array is.
Okay. So the moves is the max so far,
Max
and
of
then
the
you are taking the absolute value of the running.
and this is the current element of the array.
Okay. Yeah.
Whatever the max is, we return.
Makes
This is
sense.
the crucial step, right? I mean, this one.
I'm sorry. Could you come again?
The crucial step I'm saying, like
Yeah. 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 Because yeah, you just if you take look at the running or the whatever you call it to the prefix sum, and then you keep max on that. Initially, it's very difficult to understand why we have to take the maximum element in the um, prefix sum, right?
Yeah, and could you please explain? To be honest, I did not get it here. I know that you understand, but could you please explain one more time? Sorry for this, but why we taking max?
Yeah, because see, anyway, on the line number 9, when he is doing all that, on line number 8, basically, he is creating a same array, the machine's array, actually, he is modifying it, and actually, he's trying to find out what is a deficit or a surplus for each and every machine. Correct. So, on that line number 8. So, if we actually do a what you say, a cumulative sum for that particular array and go to the end, and at each step, if you find take the absolute value of each and every machine and take the max so far, so that will always give you the maximum number of movements which you need, right?
Uh, which you need up to this point, yeah?
yes,
Right.
like
Right.
Okay, okay,
So because we are actually moving from left to right, so in that case that is fine because we are assuming that only the movements are happening in one direction.
okay.
Right. So if you do a cumulative sum that way, that will give you the movements from one direction. But if you want to find what the movements are happening on the other direction, so for that, if we just look at if there is any surplus amount in any of the machines, and if that is the current maximum at a cumulative with the cumulative sum, that is the absolute running value. Okay. So if that is maximum, then this one, then this absolute running. So if you find in this machine value which is having a surplus value, okay, and this surplus value is greater than your absolute running value, which is your prefix sum, this is your cumulative sum.
Yeah, but if my current machine, yeah, is big as that running sum, uh, is it possible to solve this task in this case? I mean, let's say that running sum is 9, yeah, and machine is 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's not
yeah,
because it would be distributed by that time. Machine value will okay,
So no,
okay.
if you are saying cumulative sum at this current position is 9, correct?
yeah,
So
9.
what this means that we have done 9 movements from this side,
Yeah,
right? So there is one movement still going on the other side which we have not considered in this direction movement. In this direction movement we are not considering that one movement, and therefore we can take this 9, but we have to consider this also. If we
yeah,
have one moment more, it means that this 10 actually caters to this 9 as well as the movement to the other side.
Difference.
Ah, we can. Do you mean that we can move also to right?
Yeah, we have to, right?
Okay.
Either we do it the cumulative sum from left to right like this, and also do it from right to left, both sides, and then we do that. So then that will be easier. But in this case, they are doing both of them together, so we don't have to do. And if we have to find out the other side, right, like this also, right? So we have to do it both sides, the cumulative sum or the running sum. If you want to avoid this portion, okay, so then he's just saying that you take this machine and whatever is the surplus, because we know that when you are coming from your left to right, which we are actually getting from that absolute running value. So if we look only at the machine, so we know that the surplus value will tell you that there are some values which are happening from the other direction also, right, running from the right to left.
Yeah.
That actually happens in
Yes.
the surplus.
Yes, thank you. I got it. We can also move to right and
Yeah.
Left.
can
We can
left
do it in two parts
move to
also.
left.
Correct.
Okay, thank you very much. I got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky problem slightly, right? It's not so straightforward.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a mix of candy plus gas station, something like that.
Right. The gas station, the surplus one is perfectly that solution because there they only use the cumulative sum, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Then next one. So this is again like the intervals problem. So non-overlapping intervals. So we are given collection of intervals and we have to find the minimum number of intervals we need to remove to make the rest of the intervals non-overlapping. Right. So if we see this one will fall under, I think it will half, oh no,
Yeah,
two,
yeah.
three.
It will actually cover 1, 2, and 2, 3.
This one completely.
Yeah,
Mhm.
both of them.
Yeah, both of them. Yeah, so you need to remove this. Because like drawing the number line will be much more better.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
So one is like 1, 2, right? 1, 2, and another is from 2 to 3. And next is 3 to 4. And this 1, 2, 3 is this one. So these entire intervals till this point, we have to remove it.
Mm-hmm. So it means that if we remove 1, 3, so yeah, so actually this is an extra line, right? So this one. So if we just remove 1, 3, so then, okay, so this is not there, right? Yeah. So if we
Yeah.
remove 1, 3, so then there is nothing overlapping, correct?
Yeah. There is nothing.
So, yeah, so this is one answer. And the second answer will be if you don't remove 1, 3. So what we'll have to do is we'll have to remove this guy and this guy also, right? And
Okay.
then we
But
have
minimum,
non-overlapping.
because of minimum, we are removing the topper one, right? Otherwise, we'll have to remove 1, 2, and 2, 3 both.
Correct, correct. So in this case, we have the value will be 1, right? So we have to
Yeah.
remove 1. In this case, the value will be 2. So therefore, we'll prefer to take this first value. Right, yeah. So then this is not a normal overlapping sub problem, correct?
Yeah, I mean, at higher level, like, how will you check, like, whether it's overlapping or not, right? The start value. We will have to
Yeah.
sort it in
Yeah,
that
that
sense.
yeah, but it is something more than that. What I was trying to say.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
minimum makes it a bit more,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm. Because if we just go by the overlapping, then we are not sure. We might get an answer, but then in this case, the way we'll have to find out for each and every this one, right, the overlapping interval. So that will be somewhat more than n square solution, correct?
In that case, yeah.
Okay. And the constraint don't talk anything about nothing like that, right? How big the interval size is going to be and how many of these the input arrays. They don't say anything, right? Yeah. They're just talking about
Endpoint is
right. Yeah.
why
Okay.
they are that will be always right. Oh, some invalid test case they can pass.
Which one?
I mean, endpoint will always be bigger than the start, right? I don't know what is the relevance of mentioning this point.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that is supposed to be there. That is what we'll assume always, right? Yeah, it's a good thing, but they are saying it here, or else it will be the reverse way. That is what it comes to. Mm. And also, where one, two, and two, three say both are not overlapping, and that is what they have clarified here.
Even though borders touch, yes.
Right. Yeah.
That's a good question to ask, right?
Yep. Okay. So now, if we have to do it, then what you suggested earlier was do a sorting, correct?
Based on end value.
Based on end value.
Because once you know that this line is finishing at this point, another starting point is there, so we can easily check that, right? Whether it will overlap or not.
Okay. So in the case when we have two values same, like if we take an example, okay, and there is no such example because example two is also the same thing, right? Okay. Mhm.
Yeah. So same end value you're saying.
Yeah. So how do we get to that? So you are saying that we have to sort it in we're using the end value.
Yeah.
So you don't sort it with your start value. You just sort it with your end value.
Why do we start with the end value?
Yeah, Shashank.
End value, because if you sort it by the end value, let's say you will get what is a bigger overlap. I mean, like 1 3 was there. 1 3 will come first. Sorry, 1 2 will come first, then 1 3, then 2 3, and then 1 3. Right?
Hmm. Are you saying, see, if you are saying that you are doing a sorting with the big, this one,
Yeah.
the second value. So you mean to say in the first example, what you said, this one. So that will be, so this is the two value that will come first, right?
2 3 and 1 3. There is a tie, right, at the end value.
Right. So this will become first. And then out of these two values, which will come first in that case?
This one, the first one, 2 3 itself.
2, 3 will come first.
If that is, yeah.
Can I explain, Shashank?
Yeah, go ahead.
See, while we are here, we are sorting based on the ending point, right? Like ending point where it ends. So while traversing, if the next element starting point is below the ending point, then we consider as that like overlapping, right? So that we can remove it. That is why we are sorting based on the ending point.
But we can, if we sort it by front value, what will happen?
It
If we
would
sort by
automatically be
friend
sorted,
value,
no?
but
If
Go
you
ahead.
sort
if
by
we
the end
sort with
value, it would automatically be sorted by the starting value. You'll only
yeah,
have to check, right?
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
even if we sort with starting value also, we can check the end point and the next element starting point. Based on that also we
Oh,
can do that, I think.
yeah. So what they are saying is now the first case we solved, right? 1, 2. Now when we come to this 2, 3 and 1, 3, what they are saying is now 3 is same, correct? The end value. So in this case, 2 and 1, so this will come the second position and this will come third because when these are same, it is going to sort based on the start value. So if this is 1, and therefore it will come the next one, and this is 2, therefore it will come at the third position. Right, Harshit and Karthik?
Then only we'll get overlap, right? One will be ahead and two will be after. So we'll get to know like if there is a
Yeah,
time.
you'll get to know the longest overlap.
Okay. Okay. Makes sense. And so
Mm,
this
yeah.
will be 4. So this is the way the sorting will be. Okay. So now you're sorting how you want to do.
Yeah.
So you keep track of this, right? You keep track of your end time seen till now. And if your
Start is
starting
greater
time is lesser than the end time you've seen, that
overlap.
that shows that there's an overlap.
And you just count it.
Okay.
It's a greedy approach, not a DP.
Okay. So then in this case, if we have 1 and 2, so in that we are keeping a, okay, so what are we comparing is we are comparing the end, that is the 3,
The start
with the start value.
of the next interval. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then only we'll check overlap, right? If the start is below the end of first one, that means
So,
there
okay,
was.
so the 1 actually we are comparing with this 2. So then it is overlap. Then we are actually, we are just incrementing the value or keeping a count of it. Okay, makes sense.
So what if this 3 instead of 3 it was 5? This 1 3 instead of 3 it was 5.
Okay, this one, right?
Yeah.
Then 1 5 only will be removed because all the intervals will come under this 1 5, right? And you have to take the minimum identity. So better to take it 1 5 only.
Yeah.
So this will be 1. 1 you will compare with the end of the first one, which is 2. And this will be at the last position in this case, right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. So 1 will be compared with 2. So this is surely overlap because 2 is greater than 1. So that is overlap. And then we go for the second will be 3 in that case. 3 is actually greater than the 1. So this 3, right, is actually greater than 1. So that is also one overlap. And 4 is actually greater than 1. So that is also overlap. And so therefore we just count this number as one overlap in that case. Okay.
Yeah. So basically we are maintaining a non-overlapping sequence. Like
Right.
we assume that.
Mhm.
Right. So
Yeah.
I'm a bit skeptical like how this would give us the minimum number. I do get the hang of it that we are using greedy, but
Mm.
any contradictory proof, like maybe how do I know that this is the minimum number of intervals I have to remove?
Because the bigger interval, I mean, the one who will cover everybody will be at last, right? Because the end time will be very big, right?
Yeah. So the
Probability of that interval covering everyone who is in front of them is more.
yeah.
Isn't it?
So this will be 2 and this will be 3. What
Mm,
Shashank says. So this position, this of this guy,
makes sense.
yeah, will always be before all of these 3. So these 3 will always be before this guy, right, Shashank?
Yeah.
Yeah, and therefore we can actually see if all of them are there. So we can just remove this guy, or else if we had something else, then it would have been before that. If it would have been more minimum something.
Yeah, makes sense.
Or you go by the DP route and check which gives you the minimum. I mean, if we don't want to use any ingenious way, right? Try
We
all the
can
possible.
do DPV also.
No, I'm thinking like minimum they are asking no. So I thought that without sorting n square solution, kind of.
DP would be either greater than this or equal to it. It can't be better than this.
Yeah, it can't be better because it's greedy, right? Greedy is always better than DP.
This is O of n plus sorting.
No, it's sorting here and log
And
n
log
should.
n.
So if we
So DP will be more complex to,
Yes, it would be complicated.
yeah.
I don't know if possible
You'll have to
also.
maintain your last scene and something like that.
Because usually this an overlapping sub problem, what we do is we just sort on the start value and not the end value, right? So, but this is specifically first you sort on the end value, and the
Because of
right, and the start value will follow, because that has to be done only when the end values are the same.
so if end values are same, the whosoever first start small, I mean, the smaller the start value, that will come first.
Right, right.
But then by your logic, Shashank,
Yeah.
the one which has the smaller start is coming first, right?
Yeah.
So that would be the larger interval in
Hmm.
terms of its spread. Let's say you have 1 5 and the other is 2 5.
Okay.
Then 1 5 would be coming before,
And
Uh-huh.
2 5 back.
then 2 5. So you just said, right? You are sorting on the basis of end interval because it is potentially having a
Right.
larger spread.
Mhm.
But
I'm
then
not
your 2 5 is having the smaller one. I'm
Let
just
me check.
thinking, I'm just trying to throw a case where this might fail. I'm not sure.
Use them.
So
Let's take an example.
okay, so you're saying that if you want to sort based on the end, and then we have a result like 1 5 and 2 5, correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So 1 5 and 2 5, 1 5 will surely come before 2 5 in that case, because both fives are same. So
Yes.
1 will come before 2.
Yeah, right.
So then if we run through this iterative way, for the first index we will actually look for the 5, okay, which is the end of part of that interval, and then we'll compare with the 2, which is the start of the second interval. So in that case it is overlapping. So anyway we will consider that as an overlap.
But how to ensure that it will be minimum, right? Because 1 5 is coming front and 2 5 is going back.
Yeah, because
Let's
we
say
have
you have
1
another
5
one,
more
2 5.
than 2 5. So therefore, if you remove 1 5, so 2 5 will be saved, right?
Oh,
Okay, let's take another one example. Let's take another interval in this 2 5. No,
Or
after
making an
1 5 only
additional
2
one, yeah,
5.
additional one.
Now, how will things work? So, till 3 4, you don't have any overlap, right? So, then you see 1 5. Okay. So, then you see an overlap. So, now you will change your, basically, you will increase your answer. That
By
1 5 needs to be removed, and you will also, okay, so how do you go about this then?
In this case, we have to remove 1 5 and 2 5 both.
1
Correct.
5 and 2 5 both.
Yeah,
Right.
because 1 5 will
Yeah.
cover same span, okay, and then 2
Mhm.
5 is also going to cover partial span.
Yeah.
And either you keep 2 5, but then if you look at it, we can only keep 1 2. 1 2 and
Answer,
2 5 will be the only interval.
it should be 2 then. Yeah.
It should be 2, right?
Because this will
Yeah. So,
cover
you are
everything,
removing 1 5 and 2 5.
and 2 5 will
Right.
cover.
If you just remove 1 5 and 2 5, that would be good. Or else you remove 1 2 and 2 5. But then in that case,
1
1 5 is
2
going to be
and 2
another
5.
problem. So that also won't work.
1 2 1 2 5. No, no. I think
So,
we have just one option of removing.
right, 1 5 and
Like
2
the
5.
minimum one would be 1 5 or 2 5.
Yeah.
The others are 1 2 2 3 3 4, but they are more than 2.
Yeah, they are more than 2 and they are non-overlapping.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Can't form
I
any
think
other.
Shashank's what he's saying, sorting by end is helping us in some way.
Right, right, right. Because therefore he said, right, 1 5, which is having a more span, will always come before 2 5. And that
Yeah.
makes sense. So we will actually remove 1 5 in that case. We removed, but we saw again 2 5 is actually taking more overlapping. So he's taking more intervals out of our current intervals. So therefore we have to remove 2 5 also.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. But it's very hard to come up with, right?
Yeah,
I
it's not
thought.
so intuitive.
Mm,
Yeah, exactly.
You might
Is that-
come up, but you might also be in doubt.
yeah, but we'll have to remember this, because see, these internal problems are of very unique patterns, and there are only few of them, right? One is the normal merge, okay, means
Yeah.
overlapping. and one was the intersection, and second is one we just want to put one element inside a whole sorted list, sorted merge list.
Interval intersection interval insert interval, no?
Yeah, insert interval, yeah. And then
Another is
recently we saw one sum, which was like you were given an merging once, but you had to find that it cover one of that interval is covered completely by one merge. So that you have to remove. Only that you have to remove, not the overlapping ones.
yeah.
So that was a different one. So that was the fourth one, and now this is the fifth one.
Where did we see this? In the daily lead code daily
I think so
session.
in the daily it could some place.
Even
Okay.
water park, even jump game also falls in this category only. Not
Okay,
exactly.
so yeah, jump game we will have something different, yeah, because that's a whole series, right? Hmm. Yeah, but it's good to compare that with the intervals. Yeah, makes sense.
We can take
Yeah,
someday.
yeah, we should actually. I think yeah, one Sunday, right?
Yeah, let's first club all of them. Like whatever we see, let's put it at one
Yeah,
place.
yeah, all the intervals, right? Yeah, and then we actually
Yeah.
discuss it. Cool,
So this
no
is
problem.
like
So currently, at least I know five. Then we can keep on adding all of that. If the jump game also falls in this, then we'll add that also, and then we'll discuss it. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
yeah, this is like what we just discussed. I mean, I'm taking the intervals and sorting on end value, and if you find the start is greater than end, then your current end will be this, right?
Okay. So you're moving your end again ahead.
Otherwise, I mean, if the start is less than end, then you just increase your count.
Yeah. And I was trying to solve it using a line sweep. It was so difficult to find that condition wherever that peak balances out. And then I just left out. So that would have been at least a standard pattern of doing it, but it will be more complex.
Start and end will put you.
Right. Some cases the line sweep really doesn't work. Or maybe it will work. I'm not trying to get it. No problem. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's move.
Which pattern? What is that pattern name?
Line sweep, line sweep.
Skyline problems and all.
Skyline
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, okay, line sweep problem.
Yeah, line sweep.
So next is like number complement. We are given a positive integer num and we have to output its complement. And the strategy is to flip the bits of its binary representation. Like this 5 you will have 101, right? And if you flip it 010, so which is 2. See, yeah, this if you flip it, it will be 010, which is 2. And for this, it will be 0. Yeah, here I think we have to simulate it, whatever they are saying, right? Convert to binary and complement them, isn't it?
Convert to binary, and then yeah.
And
Anyway, you
just
have a conversion. Okay, for you guys, you have to do that, right? Okay. Oh no, in this case, you are saying that you need to find the bit which is on the leftmost side, the one set bit.
left. No, you have to flip every bit, right?
Right, you have to flip, that will be sure. But then what you have to do is if you flip all the bits, like in the case of 5, so you won't get 2 just like that, because you will get the previous bits which are already 0 if it's a 32-bit representation, right? So all those bits will be 1, right, in this case. So that we need to avoid. For that you are doing on line number 5, right?
5, yeah.
Yeah, you try to get the first highest bit, which is that 1. Correct. So that you are trying to find out this bit.
Oh, you are saying otherwise the entire that, I mean, these many bits, 1 not 1. So this will also become 1, right?
Yeah, yeah. So to avoid that, you take that line number 5.
Yeah. And then converting it to the power of 2.
Yes. But why the way you are doing is slightly different, right? You actually subtract -1 and then minus num.
The given number, yeah.
Okay, you don't do the complement directly.
So this is a complement only, like -1, and then you, I mean,
Okay, yeah, that's right. One and the same, because we have that
Shashank,
tilde function, right? Yeah, go ahead.
you go ahead.
yeah, I lost it. I mean, I was not there. So you are just doing this thing, no? Taking a 2 to the power and subtracting the number from that number, right?
Like Shashank, what's the question actually?
Question is
Yeah.
like 5 is given, right? So 5's binary representation is 101, right? Now you have to flip the bits. So if you flip 1, it will be 0, 0 will be 1, and 1 will be 0. Now you have to convert to decimal this one, which is 2.
Okay, so in the answer you have to find out number of zeros.
No. What is the decimal value of this binary representation?
Okay.
If we take log 2 from 5, what it will return?
Log 2 from 5.
Yeah.
So yeah, log 5, this will give you like how many bits will be there in this number, right? Like, yeah, you got like 5, how do you find the binary representation? 2 2s are 4, you write 1, right? And no, remainder we write here, right? Isn't it? And,
yeah, so, sorry for interrupting. Log 2 of 5, it will 2 and 2 dot something, yeah?
I didn't get, come again.
So log 2 of 5, log of 5 will, what value will return? 2 dot something, yeah? 2 and something.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you take 4, yeah?
Yeah.
And plus 1, okay.
So n is 3 for 5. The n comes out to be 3. Then what he does is he finds out this 2 to the power n, which is 8. Then it's that logic where he's complementing the bits. So 100, no, 101 becomes 010.
Yeah. Or the normal way, like calculate the bits, put it in a string, and then reverse it, and then again just follow this approach, like 2 raised to the power 0 into 0 plus 1 into 2 raised to the power 1 plus 0 into 2 raised to the power 0.
And can we change one of minus to XOR operation? I mean line 6, yeah? Can we change the last minus to XOR? Will it work?
Minus 2, you are saying to change to?
Yeah, after 1, can we change -1 to XOR? XOR operation. No, not this minus, just minus. You are
Following some...
let me write in chat. Yeah?
See, if this way is okay, he's saying 2 raised to n minus 1 XOR.
Oh, so I think that should, right?
No. That is something else.
Why?
Well, if you do
So
XOR,
you should take a XOR with 1.
you won't get, because XOR is not complementing, correct? It won't complement every time. Okay.
Right. So if you want to negate anything with XOR, what you do is you take the XOR with 1. So take
Plus
any
1.
number, take 101. And then if you XOR with 111, it becomes 010.
Yeah, so if we XOR with 00, oh yeah, okay, 111, it will be 101. But if we, now in this case, what we are doing is, it's going to be all the previous bits 1, and the current bits which are of number, they will all be 00s instead of 111, right? So then if you XOR with 101 with all 00s, right? So you are still going to get 101 and not the complement number.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm saying that you just take, you do nums or 1.
Oh, to nums or 1 will give 2 only.
But nums or ff, then you'll have to do, right? In that case.
Nums or 1 will give 0.
Oh no, you can't. Right? Okay.
Yeah, FF only, right? That yeah, all 32 ones.
Yeah, but then that will be again 1 1 1 then in that case. So you'll have to still remove that those
Yeah.
leading ones. No.
0 1. How does it matter to remove?
Well, okay. So in that case, if we have this one, right? So you are saying we had 5. Okay. So we have
Because
32 representation something, all these things. Okay. All these zeros, if we take, and then we have this 5. Right.
yeah,
So-
take any other number, take anything else.
Okay. What do you want?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it would work. Right.
So you're saying
You
which
there?
one?
Yeah. So you take any example. You take this only, like
Okay.
you take all of the zeros and the end 3 1 says 101.
Okay. 101.
So this is 5, right?
Right.
Now you take that FFF, what you were saying. So that would be all ones.
So if you just now complement this will be 1 1 1, right?
Yeah.
So this will be
Yeah.
1 and this will be 0.
All of them 1. No, take all of them 1.
Okay. If I take all of this 1.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
And
you
just do a XOR now.
Okay. So if I do XOR, these all will be ones, right?
No, why ones? They would be 0, no?
No.
If 0 and 1.
One. Yeah, but
And this will be 0. Okay. This will be 1 and this will be 0, right?
Same
Right,
number
right,
of
yeah.
Therefore, I was saying that I still have to remove these ones.
yeah, but we don't have this one in our case because we just line 5 give us n equal to 3, yeah, and we will have just three ones at the right
No,
side.
no, no.
Yeah?
Santosh is right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
This gives us another number.
right. But what he's saying that if we should use this also in that case, right, Nick?
Yeah, I suppose that we can change last minus to XOR.
Yeah, he just wants to change this to XOR and still use this one.
No, my idea was the line five is the same and a little bit modify line 6. Because I think that power 2 power n will out minus 1 will just 7, yeah. So 0 0 0 0 1 1 1, yeah. And if we XOR it with 0 0 0 1 0 1, we will 0 0 0.
Oh, so you're saying this will be the same, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and here you are saying they will be all zeros, right?
He's telling math.pow 2 raised to power 3 minus 1 is 7. So all the front will be zeros and 3 ones will be there. 3 set
Yeah,
bits.
those 3 wins will be there. Yeah, so these all will be ones. Yeah, in that case it will work. Yeah, that will work.
Yeah.
So this
But-
you cannot avoid in that case. You'll have to do the line number
Yeah,
5.
then you do it. Then you do the same thing, right? So now the number is, instead of all ones, it's 7. Use
Right,
or with 7, right?
7. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
correct. That's the right way to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. Yep.
Okay. And any more questions?
This kind of
Before
a,
we wrap up.
I think we are done.
I'll just stop the recording.